Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. That means that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today, I feel like it's time to close out this Shan series. Obviously, I've made so many Shan videos, and I feel like it's just something that it's very fun for me because as much as I don't want to call it punching down, it's pretty much punching down. I mean, intellectually, overall, it just seems to me like Shan is somebody who I almost feel bad at this point. Just calling out Shan on her BS. Although that's exactly what it is. It's BS. Every time I make a video, I talk about justified things that Shan has said that are completely crazy and nuts. And I think this one will be the most nuts one yet. I'm basically just gonna. This is the last Shan video because as 41 comes to a close, so does her relevancy, and so I do feel like it's probably not best if I keep talking about her because I'll probably just like lose relevancy myself. I feel like honestly, like Shannon has gotten to a point now where it's just such a dead topic. It's such a dead horse to beat because we all know that Shannon's insane, and if you don't, you'll know by the end of this video. I made a lot of videos on Shan being absolutely nuts. I've made so the first one I made was on her tweet where she says that Jessica, because she had posted a photo of 3 white people, that was considered, where is the melanin? So basically calling her a racist for not putting a black person in her survivor post of that specific tribal, which centered around four white people. And so, and then after that, I made a video really covering more of her older tweets from a while ago. And I also made a video when she called me out on Twitter because she said that I make 30-minute diatribes on her, which I had to look up what that means. Basically, she's saying that I'm viciously attacking her, which I think is hilarious because I'm just calling out what she said under her own power. And then, I feel like now is the time to close out this series. Obviously, Shan's becoming so much more irrelevant, so I do feel like it's time to close this series out with this last banger. But before we start, 70% of you guys who are watching these videos are not subscribed. Let's change that. It's easy and it's free. But also join my Discord. It should be the top link in the description. It's so worth joining. We have so much fun over there. Y'all can ask me questions there. You can give me video ideas there. So sometimes I'll just ask y'all questions about like what y'all want to see on my channel. Check that out. Join the little membership button if you're on Android or computer. It all helps me out greatly. But then again, guys, you guys already helped the channel out by continuously clicking, and if you guys keep clicking, I will keep making these videos. And without further ado, let's talk about this absolute nonsense that's coming from Shan's Twitter account. Okay, so the first tweet that I want to look at is her tweet where she says, also, why do the Facebook Survivor fans hate me so much, question mark. And it's a poll, and her 4 options that she gives her fans to choose from is the pastor thing, the black thing, the woman thing, all of the above. So she's already setting herself up to just be a victim. She can only be a victim. Maybe it's not her personality or her abrasiveness or the fact that she's being edited on a reality TV show which needs to have a villain for the season. No. It has to be just because of her identity. It has to be just because she's a black woman who's also a pastor. It can't be her personality or her reality TV edit. No. It has to be because everybody else is racist, sexist, or anti-religious. It's just, to me, it already sets up her willingness and her over giddiness to be offended, to be a victim, and that's going to develop as we look at more of these tweets that she wants to be a victim. Usually victims are victims because they just happen to get caught up in a situation that they if they could go back, they would just get out of that situation, whereas in Shan wants to be a victim. There's not many victims who are who are actively chasing the idea of being a victim, and Shan is one of those people, and it really shows by her tweets. We then see a tweet where it's basically her and Liana, and basically, she says some stuff in Spanish. I think she calls her a princess, I think. And then she says 2 dope queens and a little black girl magic. So obviously, we're all familiar with the magic that is black girl magic. Obviously, black women have these magical No, I'm joking. It just shows like why it doesn't matter. Like for me, it doesn't bother me that she's saying black girl, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I guarantee you, if somebody had said like white boy magic, haha, like she would be so triggered right now. And it shows that there's a double standard within her and her social group, that if you disagree with her, then you're some sort of racist. But if she has those same opinions going the other way against you, now all of a sudden it's just her having quote unquote black pride, which I think is hilarious. I'm black myself, and I feel like if I had said something like this, I feel like I would be disappointed in myself, to be like, oh, I got that light skinned boy magic. Like, that's just cringe. Like, it isn't even like some sort of like, I'm not even like really on like some offensive stuff. It's just cringe. It's just like, ugh, like, stop talking. Like, it's just, it to me, it just shows that she's trying to really flaunt like her race and her gender and things like that, because she knows that it's going to gain her value and quote unquote like woke points, which I think is a stupid way to conduct yourself in especially on Twitter, where you're so public, and yet you're saying all of this stuff about people being so racist and this and that, calling out Jessica for putting four white faces there and saying that where's the the melanin, and then you're turning around and talking about black girl magic. To me, it contradicts her own opinions, and it's very, very evident that she hasn't really thought this out too far. Our next tweet that we get is her. I think this one's hilarious for like one specific reason that I'll talk about in a second, but the quote reads, "Good morning. Two things. If Kyle Rittenhouse were black, period. And then two, white tears are greater than black life. Hashtag injustice. Hashtag Kyle Rittenhouse trial." I'm not going to get political on this channel, so I'm going to try to, because these next three or four quotes get very political, and I'm not like Shan. I'm not going to get political, because although I can talk about things within Survivor that pertain to politics, I try to never just flat out say I support a party or a movement or a side on this, or right or left, or things like that, because I feel like that's crossing a line where now you're specifically alienating half of your audience. Whereas if I'm just commenting on what Shan's saying, that's fine. So I'm just going to try and critique the way that Shan's thinking it, instead of giving my own opinion on something like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Okay, so she says, if Kyle Rittenhouse were black, in this case, she's obviously saying that because Kyle Rittenhouse is white, or that he has some sort of magical privilege that he just grows, that as soon as he was born, he was allowed to use his own self-defense, which is true. Anyone can use self-defense, from what I'm seeing from this case. I think that if this were a black person in this case, it would also be self-defense. Self-defense doesn't change because of your race, and it's hilarious to me that Shan can claim that if Kyle Rittenhouse were a different color, that all of a sudden these laws and institutions would all of a sudden shift on a dime and say, well, no, now it's not self-defense. It's just completely untrue, and she's basically accusing anybody who supports him of being at least associated with racism, which I think is hilarious, that she's accusing someone who disagrees with her as being a racist, because it shows that she has no actual argument to defend herself. She can't rationalize her own thoughts, so she needs to say, well, if this or if that, or it's like, well, woulda, shoulda, coulda. It's just not the case, simply. This next one is the most scary one that I've seen like in a while, from anybody really, for this matter. So she okay. So let me just read it first, and then I'll give you the my analysis and just absolutely tearing this apart. So she says, the fact that there's even a trial in all caps, about 3 white men killing an unarmed black man is insane. You're not crazy. This shit is crazy. Hashtag Ahmaud Arbery. So she's talking about a case in which a man was basically, she's right about one thing. He was unarmed and he was killed. And after this quote was tweeted a few weeks after, the 3 men were sentenced to, I believe, life in prison, if not a very, very long sentence. And so I don't know what the complaint is here, but she says the fact that they were even given a trial, and a fair trial, is somewhat wrong. So what she's insinuating here is that you cannot give people who she disagrees with trials, or at least not people like this. The idea that Shan is now calling for people to be in prison without a trial. Are you kidding me? Could you imagine, a black defendant being in prison without a trial? Are you like, that would be absolutely insane. And Shan would be going nuts on Twitter about how the institutions are being, hypocritical. The fact that Shan is calling for people to be imprisoned without a trial, that is the most crazy thing, even the most communist of countries at least know that that's not right. They may still do it, but they know it's not right. Or the most authoritarian of countries. The fact that Shan is now insinuating that because she doesn't agree with this side of the court case, that the other side should be put in jail without even a fair trial, the chance to argue for a shorter sentence. It's just absolutely insane to me that she is insinuating that we need to tear down the fabrics of law that have been for 200 almost 50 years. I think it's absolutely it really does show how far Shan will go to get her way politically. She will literally tear down the fabrics of American, of democratic, society. I feel like it's absolutely insane, and it really does show how absolutely nuts she is, that she would insinuate that this man or these men should be put to jail without a trial. No matter what you agree with or disagree with, you have to acknowledge the fact that that's absolutely nuts, at least to me personally. This next example is basically her cherry picking people who prove her argument. And when I say cherry picking, she literally picks the 6 people in the history of the entire U.S. who prove her argument, and 6 people who prove her argument on the other side. I think it's absolutely hilarious of her to use 12 people in the history of the U.S. Right now, there are 300 plus million people who are living in the U.S., and she picks 12 to prove her argument, because these 12 people represent these races. It's absolutely insane. I think it's honestly racist on her behalf. So here is the tweet. There's not really much for me to read here, but basically she chooses Dylan. I don't know the dude's name on the top, but he's the Charleston church shooter. Then we have Kyle Rittenhouse, which is a guy who used self-defense and was just declared innocent on all charges against him. So she's now claiming that he belongs in the same camp as a mass shooter, a man who used self-defense. He now belongs in the same camp as a dude who shot up a church and killed a bunch of black people. I do not know the rest of these guys. I believe the guy on the right, the white guy on the right, is the Aurora shooter, possibly. I don't know. And then the guy on the bottom right is Nicholas Cruz, who is the Florida school shooter. Guy on the bottom left, I do not know, but I assume he's also a mass shooter. Then for the black people, we have on the top left George Floyd. On the top right, I believe it's Breonna Taylor, but I could be wrong. I think one of those black women is Breonna Taylor. I think we might have Trayvon somewhere in here, I think. And yeah, but basically what she's saying is, here's 6 people who were mass shooters, or at least accused mass shooters. Obviously, with Rittenhouse being called innocent on all charges by a jury and the judge. And so I think it's hilarious to me that she finds 6 of the worst representatives of the white race, and then finds 6 martyrs from the black race, and then wants to say that this represents the society that she's trying to paint for what America is really like, which is obviously not the case, right? Not all white males are school shooters or mass shooters, and not all black females and males are martyrs to be hailed. That's simply not the case. And I think it's hilarious for her to compare mass shooters with murder victims. Those are 2 different groups. Obviously, if you pick only murder victims, you're going to get people who got murdered. That's how it works. And if you pick only mass shooters, you're going to get people who got arrested. That's how it works. I mean, I don't understand. One are criminals. Criminals get arrested. One are murder victims. Murder victims get murdered. That's how it works. I think for her, this is just her trying to twist your head and think, wait, maybe she had no. She has no point here. Absolutely no point. And she cherry picks the 12 people out of 333 million people who prove her argument. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, this next one, she says, this pastor, referring to herself, I'm assuming, is pro-choice. And so is God. See Genesis 3. I said what I said. Hashtag Roe v. Wade, hashtag pro-choice, hashtag abortion, hashtag women's rights, hashtag humans' rights. I think it's hilarious here, one, right off the bat, that she's using Roe v. Wade as her proof when she's so against the institutions of America. I thought that they were all racist. And if somebody's racist, I would never use a racist person as a citation for my argument. And I feel like for her to use what she's saying is a institutionally racist collection of judges, because it's a big institution in America. So if you're calling America racist and its institutions, then you have to call the Supreme Court racist. And if you're calling them racist, then you're saying that the Roe v. Wade decision came from racist people. And it shows that she flips back and forth between, okay, well, I respect the institutions of America here, but not here, when it proves my argument, but not when it doesn't. And it shows that she's cherry picking, just like last time. This is to a lesser extent, and it's more well hidden, but I still see it, and I really hope that you guys do as well, because if you don't, she's going to be able to somehow convince you that, hey, maybe I'm just closed-minded. No, you just have common sense, and she obviously does. And this last tweet, I feel like it's a perfect time to close out this video, a perfect tweet to end it on, right? To end out this entire series. And it really encapsulates her victim mentality. Here's the quote. I know, y'all hate me. Rolling eye emoji. Hashtag Survivor, hashtag Survivor41. So I think this is a perfect one to end this series on, this series of videos, because it just encapsulates. She wants to be a victim. Please. Like, I'm 15 years old, and I don't act like this. I know it's a stereotype for my generation to be all, victim mentality and complaining all the time, but that's not all of us. Shans of our, Shan's not in my generation, but the Shans of the millennials and Gen Z generations, they do not represent the rest of us. Shan has a victim mentality. Shan walks around every day and tries to be a victim. And if she's not trying, she's trying to convince you that she already is a victim. And I think it just shows. It shows that she cannot be happy and she wakes up. And you know what? Let's go back to the last quote where she says good morning, and then she talks about how America's racist. Who wakes up and thinks, oh, I'm in a racist place. Everyone's so racist. Like, wake up and say, oh my God, I just woke up today. Oh my God, I'm on Survivor. Not wake up and say, I know, y'all hate me. Like, she's trying to be a victim, and you're 30 some odd years old. To me, it's just, I don't get the mentality. Maybe somebody can explain the victim mentality in the comments for me, but I just simply cannot understand it. And that's just my personal opinion. And that's it, guys. I just wanted to touch on this absolute nonsense. Sorry if I got a little ranty in there. If you're new here, sub, as always. Hopefully you guys like my content. Right now, I am filming a bunch of videos in bulk to release over the Christmas break, so stay tuned for those. We have tons of fun here, so as always, check out the channel if you haven't already. None of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm just a weird guy speaking into a weird microphone, and if that's it, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.